Good afternoon and welcome to Manland, where I spend many hours watching sports on this big screen TV. But today I'm going to talk to you about reality TV, its evolution, and comment on where I think it might go in the future. Like Marshall McLuhan, I intend to look back in order to look forward. This is the Roman Colosseum, where for 450 years man and beast met bloody ends before a grateful Roman populace who delivered their live or die vote with the thrust of a thumb. A little known fact is that originally an uplifted thumb meant death, while a downward thumb indicated the laying down of swords and that the vanquished be spared. Somewhere along the line, an Italian artist confused the issue in a painting, and the true symbolism was lost. Many millennials think reality TV is a new genre that suddenly burst upon the scene in 2000s when Survivor and American Idol first aired. The truth is, reality TV began in the golden age of television. There are currently now as many as 30 plus subgenres and 172 episodic programs currently on the air. TV Guide recently stated that 15 of the top 20 highest rated programs were unscripted reality shows. But what effect is reality programming having on American society? Consider that Snooki from Jersey Shore was paid more to address Rutgers University in 2011 than the Nobel Peace Prize winning author Toni Morrison was offered to give the commencement address that same year. Study hard, but party harder was her war cry. And then there's Kim Kardashian, who made more than $12 million for her highly publicized wedding that ended in only 72 days. Long before Ashton Kutcher pranked his Hollywood cronies, Alan Funt was catching Americans in the act of being themselves. In 1973, An American Family showed on PBS. It chronicled the Loud family as it went through divorce, a son's gay lifestyle, and illustrated the changing family values of the time. Today we are invited into homes of such celebrities as Ozzy Osbourne or the Robertsons of Duck Dynasty fame. Where once you might wonder, does Ozzy sleep in a coffin? Does he eat bats for breakfast? More than likely he's cleaning up dog poop from one of his wife Sharon's many dogs. Sharon! Dating in the early days of TV was a simpler process. You borrowed the family car from your father. You tried to steal a first kiss. You might have gone to a sock hop. On TV was American Bandstand and The Dating Game. One lucky bachelor or bachelorette would have 3 suitors secluded behind a wall and was able to ask questions whose responses hopefully would allow them to choose that person to be whisked away for some exotic resort date. Fast forward now to modern day, and you might have Flavor Flav giving clocks to scantily clad, foul-mouthed, hair-pulling women, all vying for that strange little man's affection. Or perhaps The Bachelor is trying to select who he will give a rose to and find eternal bliss. America's preoccupation with occupations has been a constant since the early days of television. What's My Line hit the black and white television screens across America in 1950. The panelists had to guess contestants' odd or not so odd occupations by asking a very limited number of yes or no questions. And then at the end, there was always a celebrity cameo appearance. Today, viewing public is able to vicariously join the crew of the Northwestern as they fish the Bering Sea in search of crab, or ride shotgun with Hugh Rowland on the Ice Road Truckers. In 1983, Ed McMahon hosted Star Search. Notable talents such as Justin Timberlake, Ray Romano, and Sharon Stone got their big break competing for the title in their given categories. Today, young and old, talented and untalented people from all walks of life stand in line sometimes for days for an opportunity to audition for one of the many reality talent shows. I think part of the allure for the audience is a bizarre human response elicited by watching people we don't identify with struggle, be embarrassed, and ultimately fail in their quest of perhaps reaching an unrealistic dream. Who didn't cringe when William Hung sang She Bop? On any given Sunday, one could find Marlon Perkins and Jim Fowler wrestling a zebra or pursuing an ostrich across the plains of the Serengeti. But it was Steve Irwin who took the torch and reinvigorated the wildlife documentary genre with his show The Crocodile Hunter that aired in 1997. In a tragic and rather cruel twist of fate, Steve Irwin finally met his match and was killed not by a snapping reptile, but by a stingray. A fish that rarely attacks humans, the lovable khaki-clad wildlife expert is believed to have swum too close and was impaled by the poisonous barb on one's tail. The barb went up into his chest, piercing a hole in his heart. He had spent his life in the company of crocodiles and constantly wowed audiences and angered the authorities with his reptile wrestling antics, and it was a more innocuous death he met at the hands of a docile sea creature. In 1992, MTV pioneered the social experiment The Real World. The premise was simple. Place 7 diverse strangers in a house together and film the results. There was initially no competitive element at all. The Real World set the standard of a private confessionals, which would become a reality TV staple. In the show's 3rd season, however, a stunning move to vote out a housemate turned reality TV upside down. When Survivor premiered in the May of 2000, it can be argued that the show truly defined the modern era reality TV genre. Once again, a diverse group of strangers are placed together, this time in a remote site with few creature comforts. Tribes are formed, head-to-head contests of strength, stamina, and guile are introduced, with the winners receiving perks and preferential treatment, even immunity from the inevitable vote that takes place at the end of every episode. Naked and Afraid took the whole survival premise to another level. 2 individuals, 1 man and 1 woman, are whisked away to some inhospitable location far from civilization in a test of primitive survival skills. For 21 days without shoes or clothing and armed with only one survival tool of their choice, they must cohabitate, finally trekking to a distant extraction point. So we now have come full circle. Throughout this paper, I have described the evolution of reality TV from subgenre to subgenre. Like the gladiators who once fought life or death battles to the amusement of the Roman populace, reality TV contestants now vie for Andy Warhol's 15 minutes of fame, episode after episode and season after season. But they too must face the judgment of the people. Whether it is the obnoxious sound of Howard Stern's buzzer, the receipt of a rose, or the turn of a chair, all must face their reality TV reality. But where does it go from here? Are we to return to the spectacle of the Colosseum? In the future, will it be enough to imply sexual contact with images of couples carefully hidden under strategically placed bedding? Or will the viewing public demand no-holds-barred pornographic sex? Will they tune in each week to see some stunt go terribly awry, thereby putting a participant in a wheelchair for the rest of their lives? Or will someone have to die in some outrageous test of human endurance to satisfy the masses? Reality TV shows have gone from thoughtful studies in human behavior to shock tactics bent on acquiring Nielsen ratings. Marshall McLuhan was quoted as saying, "Anything I talk about, I am resolutely against, but I want to understand it, rather than be overwhelmed by it." I think were McLuhan alive today, he would have much to say in regards to reality TV.